need to go to jail because they are a menace to society. Judge Gomez at the time said that I want them to go up to the adolescent ward on Sunderlands for 14 days so they could do an evaluation of these two young men. I started to say to myself, I better look at a guy getting in jail. And you say after the 14 days, and the prosecutor at that time, I never forget him, prosecutor Mr. McKinsey. And he said after 14 days, we get a report, and once they get a report from the necessary specialist, then I will make my ruling. We went up to Stanlands, and I thought, Jesus Christ, they ain't there in jail, now they came with a crazy house. When I go up there, I said, boy, listen, yeah, I look out and keep my head over here because I know what's happening. Because I had some tears to put up there. Once you go up there ready, you come back out on stable. But anyway, I said, I go to jail, so I can wait these 14 days good. And as I went there, me and my friend Dion Rice, we was on the adolescent ward. And I remember on the 13th day, it's something about 13, we talk about Friday the 13th. But on the 13th day, Dion Rice came to me and tell me, he said, boy, Apple, listen here, one nigga from Camp Golden here, and we gotta do him in. I said, boy, the devil busy. I said, boy, you only got one more day in here before I go back to the judge. I don't better talk when you get beat up this Camp Golden better. So I told him, I said, boy, listen here, between me and you, can leave it alone. Because right now we only got one more day in here, man, let that go. So he said, boy, you take my apple, but you joking, but I can deal with myself. So I said, boy, listen, I ain't getting down. So that evening when we was having dinner, I hear some little combustion going on inside the dormers. And when they come out, Dion Rice and another guy from Camp Pool had a fight. And the following day we went down to the court, and the judge sent Dion to prison. And he said, Shelton boys, due to the fact that you didn't get yourself involved in no problems and your report is clear, I'm going to give you 2.5 more months up in silence and you can be released. I said, God be the glory. Great things he has done. But that was 20 years ago. I was 17. And my good friend Dion Rice, his alias name is Dogman, is a seasoned criminal. And many of the police officers here will know him. And he's in prison as I speak. He's been in and out of prison for all sorts of crimes, from murder, armed robbery, and the list goes on. I just want to say that if God didn't envision Project Time, I was going to be doing jail time today. My story is not pretty. I'm not one who grew up in a 2-parent home with mommy and daddy, having the best of relationship, having all the clothes, all the necessary things to them. I was one who was brought up in a home where my 2 sisters had their fathers, and I was the youngest child. And I saw when we used to go to the neighborhood store that every now and then when their daddy come along, they would give them some money. And they would also give me some money as well. Their money was red, blue, and brown. And mine was green. So when we go to the store, I was the youngest one. You know, I order what they order. So I always come home and I cry why they get more than me. Must be because I was small. Until one day I asked my mom, I said, Mommy, why my money can't buy what they money buy? And she told me, you know. And from a young child, that bothered me. I also find myself living a lie. Whenever the most heartless time besides school is to come to school in January after Christmas and to hear all your friends talk about what daddy had bought them and how the Christmas was with their daddy. Well, me, I make up a lie. I say, well, my daddy buy me this and my daddy buy me that. I had this, I had the next. All the time I was living a lie. As I go older into my teenage years, I started to rebel. Because I was looking for this love, what was not there. The absentee of my father not being involved in my life at the teenage years got me angry. Also to attach me to a gang. The gang at the time named the Rebellion's Raiders. And I found comfort and support and false love in that group. But we was there for one another. The reality is that many of our young people are looking for love. Many of them do not have this love. Many of them are dying for this love. And they will do anything. And that's why you see many of our young people are acting out in so many different ways. And I thank God for Project Time because it saved my life. And I thank God for Pastor Beneby because I wouldn't even know him if he didn't come on the basketball court because I love basketball. But I heard about this Project Time going out to the Marshall Road, having these events on Sunday, and trophies and hot dog and drink involved. And you know me, I all for that. And we went down there from Elizabeth State to, I never forget him. He, police officer David Markford, who started a program named Saber-Tooth Tigers in the back of his yard. And I was a part of that program. And that's how we connected through to Mr. Beneby. I say that to tell you all that it hurts me to see many of my young brothers are going to jail. Many of my young brothers are strung on drugs, confused, ain't know where they go. And I found myself through Pastor Beneby mentoring me, because Pastor Beneby used to mentor 4 of us. He mentored 4 of us every week religiously. That was me and my good friend Benwood Sayers, Vincent Ingram, and Michael Clark. And all of us here is out free. I remember, and every year I have been doing this. I have so many friends who are in prison, and I have my own business, but I only make so much amount of money. And I remember when you could have bring teens up to the prison, but now our system has changed. You have to put money on the gate, the fellas them to get stuff. And I had about 20 friends in prison 1 year. Boys, and listening, work, there's too much money. And I started to get beside myself in a way of saying, boy, I can't do this because I need some money for myself. But then a voice tell me, say, do you want to be the one receiving the money or the one giving the money? And right after that, and then I take out all the money out of my pocket and I put it on the gate for the 20 fellas, giving each one of them $35 a piece so they could get some stuff. I say that to say because I supposed to be doing jail time. But through the birth of Project Time and Pastor Beneby becoming a father in my life, because whenever Pastor Beneby calls me, I move. There ain't much people can get me to move. And that's because I see him as the father which I never had. Today, I still don't know my father, but that doesn't matter to me no more, because God has provided me with a father. I just want to say to many of those who I see around the audience here who have been so instrumental in my life in so many different ways. Mr. Hewlett Hanno, Mr. John Ferguson, Pastor Dwight Ferguson, who is now pastor in the Elizabeth Estates Church of God of Prophecy. And I see Pastor Gailey Spawn and all the Beneby brothers. I see my good neighbor, Mr. Dolan Curtis. Something happened to me 7 years ago that almost landed me back in prison. Seven years ago, my mom got shot and I got shot in Yellow. Many of y'all would have heard of the story. And I had someone came down from all of the states to tell me, say, Apple, just give me the name, the number, and where it is. In less than 2 hours of the matter, I was to the hospital inside Princess Michael Hospital, and I got a call from one of the prison. Fella tell me, say, Apple, when he come up here, we will deal with him for you. And I tell all of them that I leave everything in the hands of the Lord. And I refuse to go backwards, but to move forward. With peace and love. I like the words of what Project Time has here in the back where it says, where there is hatred, take love. And where there is violence, take peace. And I truly can say that Project Time has been the anchor source to God's grace into my life. Because if I wasn't a changed man, I see one of my good friends in the back there who was a part of the same gang, Freddie.
Freddie, from East Street.
From East Street. We would retaliate. Because when one brother hurts, all the brothers hurts. But because of Project Time teaching us about peace and love, about forgiveness, I can let them go. But that only could happen through the transformation of your mind. And I want to say to you all today that we must work together. With what is happening on our streets, had a young man go get stabbed. You had to go see him at the hospital, 18 years of age. Another young man got fined with some marijuana. He's now doing 4 months in prison. All these is from Elizabeth State, Yamaha. Another young man gunned down dead in Elizabeth State, 4 shots. Another young man got called up his house, gets shot in his head. He's fighting for his life in Princess Margaret Hospital. The only way we can impact this generation, this time, if we endorse programs like Project T.I.M.E, and if we as a church and civic body support the police and work together as a unit. Because them outside there, they're working together. And I just want to close y'all with something that you understand. And this real talk, what is happening in our society. We have now the modern day gang which move on from us, the rebellion. The modern day gangs now is the fire and thefts and the one orders. They are the modern day gangs. The older fellas them is basically teaching the younger guys how to do crime. They give them monies and things what they want, and motorbikes, cars, and the list goes on. And these young persons them will do anything. It is very important that we know that Bishop Beneby, like how he came into my life. I remember, and I'll never forget this. I was not working. And I was not working, and I had $1 in my pocket. I'm $1 in my pocket. And Mr. Beneby, at the time he was the bishop, he gave me $50 in my pocket. $50 was plenty then. I'll never forget that. And some people say that's why you go.
Give it all away. Give it all away.
Give it all away.
Yeah.
But what you have given away,
amen.
As look at the product.
Amen.
So I just want to say, Pastor Beneby, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being there.
Amen.
Yeah, man.